Hi, I'm John with Wagner. When you paint or stain using your FLEXiO sprayer, you'll get great results in less time. But to make sure you do, you have to set your adjustments for the specific project you're working on. When spraying a ceiling, I always start on one wall and put a couple passes on, then turn around, and holding your gun at a 45-degree angle, you spray towards the ceiling that is unpainted. With spraying a ceiling, you're fighting gravity. So you want to have your airflow turned all the way up, your material setting at around a 9 or a 10, and turn your nozzle to a side-to-side pattern so it's easy to work left and right. Also, you want to be a little bit closer to the ceiling, maybe somewhere around 6 inches or less. When painting trim, you should use the Detail Finish nozzle. It gives you smoother coverage and much more control. To get that glass-type finish, you should have your air power turned all the way up, your material flow turned down a little bit, and you may have to thin the paint. With your FLEXiO, you have 4 different spray patterns that you can choose from, depending on your project needs. First, you can turn your air cap to this direction to spray up and down. Or you could rotate it 90 degrees for spraying side to side. And you could also choose between a wide and a narrow pattern. This was actually on the narrow pattern, but I had my paint flow all the way up. If I wanted an even more narrow pattern, I would turn it down, maybe to a 4 or 5. If I want more coverage, I would flip this over to the wide pattern and turn my paint flow back up. As you can see, I can cover a lot of area really quickly. When using a FLEXiO, to get the texture you're looking for, there's 3 things that you can work on. First and most important is your balance of your airflow to your paint flow. If you have too little air and too much paint, you're going to get a really clumpy finish and texture, something like this. To get a more smooth finish, I'll turn up my airflow and turn down the paint flow. That'll smooth it out and give you the finish you're looking for. The second point is the distance you are from the surface. Remember, you want to be 6 to 8 inches, something like this. If you're too far away, you're going to get that splattery pattern and not the finish that you're looking for. The final point is your arm speed. You want to move fast enough where you don't get runs and sags, but not too fast that you get light spots that you have to come back and hit over again. And one other little tip, as you're spraying, paint is going to collect on the end of the nozzle. You want to wipe that every once in a while so you don't have anything disrupt your spray pattern and get a clumpy finish. When using a semi-transparent stain, they're very thin, so you want to make sure that you check your air power and your material flow and turn those down so you don't end up with runs and a big mess on your project. Something that would look like this. With a semi-transparent stain, you probably want to turn your airflow to about half and your material flow to a 2 or a 3. Then test it out and see how it sprays to see that you get enough coverage so it can soak in, but not so much that you get a run like you see there. With your settings right, you also want to make sure that you overlap about 30%. That way you have even coverage without some heavy boards and light boards. Let me show you what that looks like. As you can see, it looks much better. As it soaks in and dries, you can determine if you want to put on another coat for a darker tint. A great application for that narrow pattern is when you have installed trim. If I use a wide pattern, I'll be wasting paint on this paneling, whereas the narrow pattern will concentrate it and get the spray right where I want it. Let's see what it looks like. With the FLEXiO sprayer on a rough exterior surface like this, you can turn both your air power and your flow all the way up because you're not worried about a real smooth finish. You just want to get the job done fast with great coverage. Let's see how it looks. We hope you find these tips helpful. For more videos and additional information on our complete line of painting products, visit WagnerSprayTech.com. Thanks for watching.